Nice. All right, cool. What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome to the second live stream that we've ever had on this. Let's start off with some shout outs. Niraj, Stewart, Rich Owens, what's up? Cyberprompt, Silver Jaguar, Paul, Brainer, Amir. What's going on, guys? John McCoy, Tim Schubert, Richard Harris. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. Your support means everything. Thank you so much. All right. Let's just give it another minute, give some people to join. Let me send out an announcement. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. What's going on, Antonio? Roman, Aaron Kimpton, what's going on? All right, so let's start off by obviously, doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin, right? So what we saw in the last couple of days with the markets was a little bit unexpected, I should say. Not extremely. I mean, it's not super fringe, right? So we're not nearing any sort of catastrophic crash, or at least the market isn't giving us an indication of such. And the reason I say that is if you look at the 1 day chart, right, you'll see I drew this a long time ago. I would say, well, a long time ago is relative, but I would say 3 or 4 days ago, I had drawn this, and there was this channel that I saw forming here, and I was saying that Bitcoin would be jumping in between this channel, right? And if it broke out either way, that would signal market confirmation that, you know, we're either going to be drifting upwards and testing previous highs at the 12,500 level at least, or we would be breaking out downward and seeing a slump in Bitcoin, right? And that's why we draw these channels, is so that we can get market confirmation before we make trading moves. Dominic, you're saying there's no sound? Can most people hear me, or is it just... most people say they can't hear me. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Well, some people hear me, so it's impossible that some of you get sound and some of you don't. So for those of you geniuses that can't hear me, maybe turn on your speakers. I'm just messing with you. But all right, so I guess the consensus is that, you know, the sound is good. All right. So for those that can't hear, turn on your speakers or buy some new headphones or something. But yeah, every single message is saying that you can hear me. What's up, Ramon? BTFD, buy the fucking dip. Exactly. All right, let me just continue with this. So what I was saying is, and this is one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today, right, is waiting for confirmation before making a trade. I was asked in the Discord, you know, should I make a trade now or should I wait? And in my prudent approach, in my investing experience, right, not only in crypto, but stocks and options, whatever, anything that's chartable and tradable, you want to wait for confirmation before making a move. Obviously, you can, you know, buy while it's in this channel, but there really isn't a reason to be impatient. So you see here, this is the day candle that formed today, and Bitcoin is closing below this channel. Now, in the larger context, this might not be such a bad thing, and let me show you why. You have this this is, you know, what I drew was basically 2/3 of an inverted head and shoulders, right? You have the shoulder here, the head, and this might be another shoulder forming. And for those of you that say that my inverted head and shoulders looks like male genital parts. How else can you draw this? Like, you freaking try and draw it with, without it looking like this. Anton says, I love it in red. It's cheap. Yeah, if you looked at my last video before this, the one with the cute little Warren Buffett picture on the thumbnail, yeah, that's what Warren Buffett said, right? He said they're more aggressive when the market's going down. He said they're even more comfortable when the market is going down. Cyberprompt says, need a longer head, I guess. So anyway, back to what I was saying. You guys are a mess. Back to what I was saying. This could be, the last third of the inverted head and shoulders, right? You see this coming. You see this these candles dipping downwards, and they could retrace in a rounded fashion to complete this inverted head and shoulders, which is not such a bad thing. And that's why I say, yeah, we didn't expect the market to, I guess, pull back, below what we couldn't get above 11.4, 11.5 maybe in terms of Bitcoin's price. And we lost, 10-15% in Bitcoin's price, but that might not be such a bad thing in hindsight. For one, it gives you a chance to buy cheaply, and two, it could be part of a larger inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? So anyway, the market confirmed that it broke below this support line that we drew, meaning that we could be going down some more, and you could be getting Bitcoin at a cheaper price. Now, is it a smart investment to buy now? Yes, it is, because Bitcoin is at relatively a cheaper price than we've seen in the last few days. However, this comes with a caveat. Scaling your buy-ins, or throttling your buy-ins, or staggering your buy-ins, however, whatever you want to call it, but basically not throwing your entire budget into one price point, right? Nobody knows what the market is going to do exactly, right? So say you buy at 9,800 and Bitcoin falls down to 9,500. You might want to put in another buy-in at that level, at another buy-in if it falls down to 9,100 or even below 9,000, right? So that you're averaging your buy-ins and getting the best price possible. The other thing you don't want to do in a dip is just hoard your budget and wait to jump in, right? Because before you know it, Bitcoin is back up to 11,200 and fear of missing out kicks in, and you just throw your entire budget into one price point, and it's now 11,200. It's funny how human psychology works, right? On a dip, you fear that you're not getting the best price, so you hold out, and then the price raises and it's now 11,200, and the fear of missing out kicks in, and then you buy it at an even higher price. So it's funny how that works. And before I move on to another chart, the last thing that I wanted to mention, and I mentioned this in a video, but basically on the RSI, right? You see how the RSI here is oversold. The RSI here is oversold. This touched exactly at the 30 level, at the oversold level. Every single time in the last, almost 8 months, maybe even longer, maybe last year, that Bitcoin has touched or gone past this 30 on the oversold level, it has shot back up to being overbought. And as you know, this coincides with the price, and the price coincides with this. Meaning that if and when it does hit 30 or below, it jumps back up to being overbought. And we have obviously surpassed the RSI here, and we are on our way. And if this RSI and the price moving along with it does not get to the overbought level, that will be unprecedented in the last year. And then we also see the MACD here, it's already converged, and the blue, which is the 12, is rising above the 26. So there are good signs here. I don't think that, again, the market is not telling us that we're in some sort of catastrophic downfall. We failed to close over the 50-day EMA, since early January. We failed to close over. So it's no surprise that it's not able to get over it. It seems like a major point of resistance. However, there still isn't any catastrophic sign at the moment for Bitcoin, and I do think that it is a good price to buy as long as you are scaling your buy-ins. All right, let's look at the chat and see what you guys were saying. Blah, blah, blah. Ballcoin chart. Something shafted on TRX. People panic. Why then you don't believe? I'm not sure what that means. Depends how much money, blah, blah, blah. All right. So there isn't any question really or anything of note on the chat just yet. All right. So let us look at some of the requests that you guys had requested earlier in the Discord. I know Neo was one of them. Verge was another one. Litecoin was another one. So let's go ahead and look at Neo. So let us look at Neo against Bitcoin on Binance. And I apologize for these previous drawings and indicators that I have on here. So let me just remove some of them, and then we can start over. All right. So this is what Neo's chart looks like now. Now I'm bullish on Neo long term, and it looks like Neo is still holding up from this bull run that it had starting back in December, right? Like that's why I was saying earlier in one of the other videos that trend lines can only do so much for you, because say that you drew a trend line here, right? Say that we were back here back in early February and all these candles weren't populated yet, and you drew this trend line here, and you say to yourself, yeah, if Neo breaks this support line, then we're going to continue to go down, right? But as time moves along, you can conveniently redraw your trend lines this way. So yes, trend lines are valuable pieces of information, right? They give you valuable pieces of information, but it is not everything. So we'll just keep this trend line here. You'll see that there is a wedge or a triangle forming currently. On Neo. Are there any sort, is the market giving us anything on the 1-day chart with Neo? Yeah, I mean, depending on where we are in the market, this could be a bullish indicator, right? You have this run up, and then you have a kind of a descending wedge, and then we do expect to see a, this is basically Neo's consolidation right here, and then we do expect to see a bull run after that. However, because we're in crypto, everything is determined by Bitcoin's price, and Bitcoin runs the market currently. So as long as Bitcoin stays down, I don't think Neo or any other altcoin has a chance to significantly rise, apart from pump and dumps, which some of you on the Discord were trying to get me to be a part of earlier this morning. I won't name any names, but besides pump and dumps or organized buy-ins or organized purchases, excuse me, in terms of the normal crypto landscape at the moment, it's really hard for any altcoin to significantly see a stable rise or stable rally without Bitcoin actually being healthy, right? Without Bitcoin actually rallying. And that's how it's been as of late. If we take a look at the MACD, what I would want to do before getting into Neo is wait for these to converge, right? Wait for the 12 and the 26 to converge, so that the blue, the 12 actually has a chance to run up, right? The RSI looks like it's on the bottom end of this normal range bound here. There really isn't anything telling in the RSI except for that we are dipping from this overbought level. And if we look historically at Neo back here, I mean, we don't have much data in terms of length of time, but if we look back here, which was around August 2017, the last time that Neo has hit the overbought level, we do see it decline to almost an oversold level. I do think Neo has some declining to do. Again, it is also dependent on Bitcoin. But as soon as we do see a breakout and the market stabilizes, I think NEO will continue to rise. And then obviously you have to take the fundamentals into account, right? It's not just about the charts. It's not just technical analysis. We do have to take into account the actual project, the tech, what's behind it, what are their plans, are they releasing on time, are they following the roadmap, are they following their white paper. So if it was me, I would wait for a market confirmation before investing in NEO. Again, you could make a call and invest in NEO currently. However, in terms of potential profit, right? So if we use this price range tool and measure from now until, from what the price is now until what the high was, you're about 28% away. So in terms of potential profits, if we're taking if we're taking the all-time high as precedence, right? Basically saying that NEO has the ability to at least reach previous all-time highs, you're only about 28% away, and 28% is great. But again, remember that's the all-time high. So you could make a move on NEO. I think it has a little bit more declining to do as long as Bitcoin keeps declining. You could make a purchase now, but I would scale my buy-ins. All right, let's go back to the chat. Cyberprompt says, China money manipulators, do not trust them. All right. That's the other thing I want you guys to, you see these comments a lot about institutional buyers or money manipulators or whales. That exists in Wall Street too. That exists in every single market. Like, you don't think that there are fat cats in Wall Street, or there are sort of shady happenings going on. Actually, Wall Street is probably even more corrupt than crypto, because insider trading happens every single day. It's just that people don't get caught at the same rate that they do in other markets. Like, Wall Street is made up of people who have been there for a long time, and a lot of people know each other, and there's insider trading going on everywhere. Like, you don't think that if Martha Stewart got caught insider trading, like, you don't think that, somebody who has a more nefarious character is going to call up their buddy at another corporation and say, hey, look, I'm about to dump, my shares of such and such, get ready, because that's going to plummet the market. That happens every single day. So it's not just crypto. Yeah, fine. If market manipulators exist or whales exist, at least through technical analysis, you'll be able to see that on the chart. You'll see a lot of times when there are just these huge, giant volume bars that are unprecedented, it's either part of a pump and dump or institutional investors, right? So as long as it's something you can chart and take into account, you should be able to work around that, is all I'm saying. So let's not blame our ills on market manipulators, unless it was something that was so egregious and that there was no way for us to trade around it. But I'm not of that belief. All right. What about XRP? Okay, we'll take a look at XRP. There was another. I wanted to take a look at Tron because someone had requested that. ICX. Okay, we'll take a look at that, and Litecoin. So Litecoin has been something that's been requested. So we'll take a look at Litecoin. What about BitConnect coin? Should I buy it now? I'm not sure if BitConnect jokes are still relevant, but yeah, go ahead and buy it. Gwent Champ. What's your vote for new coin on Binance? WePower. I don't know, man. Like, I see the names of these coins, WePower, Circus Coin, or whatever, Moses Coin. Like, it means nothing to me. Like, these are all unproven projects. I don't know. Maybe WePower has delivered some sort of revolutionary tech to the market, but it doesn't matter to me, dude. Like, honestly, I'm a trader. There are only very few projects that I believe in. It doesn't mean that I only invest in projects I believe in. I get in and out of coins all the time. Ones that I know by name and I don't know nothing else about them. Now, if you're talking about long-term strategy, different story, right? Different story. You want to only buy things that you believe in, that you can sit on and, in 2-3 years, reap your reward. So Amir Shalev said Jesus. I do have a hilarious story about Jesus Coin. I shared it with some people on the Discord, but the people at Jesus Coin reached out to me and basically said, "Can you do some sort of promotion on Jesus Coin, and we'll pay you in Jesus Coin?" And the guy's name legit was Saint Peter, no joke. All right. Icon or pillar, blah blah blah. Okay, so let's look at Litecoin, and then we'll look at LTC, right? I'm sorry, Litecoin is LTC. We'll look at XRP after Litecoin. Okay. All right. All right, so funny enough, this I drew this wave days ago, and it's kind of playing out, but I'll go ahead and remove this just for the simplicity of the video. Yeah, and again, like, this was when did I draw this? This had to be 3 weeks ago now, when I drew this support line that said major support level at 0.786 fib. This fib, based on the way I drew it, is still relevant, right? Because it takes the low here and the swing high here. And it looks like that support level is just about where, yeah, there's major support level around the 786 fib, because you see these candles bounce off it, right? So I bought some Litecoin earlier today during the dip, because, you know, I think it was trading at around 180, I believe, earlier today. And I had basically scaled into my buy-in. So I actually had a buy-in at 180, at 175, etc. And that's why I keep telling you to scale your buy-in. So again, Litecoin is one of these coins that is, you know, it's one of the big three. Obviously, you have Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. But it's also tied to Bitcoin. It's funny because it goes in and out in terms of how extricably tied it is to Bitcoin, right? So sometimes it grows and falls at the same rate. Sometimes it grows and falls at a less rate, and sometimes it grows at a faster rate. And recently what we've seen is that Bitcoin and Litecoin have grown together, and Ethereum has actually grown at a much slower rate than we've seen historically. So Ethereum is actually the surprise here. In terms of technical analysis on the 1 day chart, right? Like, we drew this resistance line days ago. Again, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago that we drew this resistance line, and you see Litecoin breaking out of there, and it actually broke out of there positively. And if we draw the trend that it's currently on, it's still on a positive trend, right? Again, you know, be wary of these trend lines if you're only drawing trend lines and not taking other technical analysis into account. And the one thing with Litecoin is that it routinely breaks below its EMAs. So here you have the 50 and the 100. It has no problem trading below the 50. Like you see here, it was trading below the 50 for, you know, a month, almost exactly a month. It was trading below the 50. And it fell below the 100 beginning of February, and it's trading below the 100. Currently, it looks like it's bouncing off of the 50. Obviously, we don't have enough candles in advance to know what happens there. Now, this right here is a bearish candle, right? So you have this big, convincing red bearish candle, followed by one that opened and closed below the previous one, right? However, what we have here, and I don't know how well you can see. I don't know how well you could see this candle right here. That kind of looks like it might be forming a dragonfly doji. Well, I know you guys love that name. But this, if obviously the day is still really young, this has until, you know, tomorrow to play out. But this could be the determining factor in what happens to Litecoin. If this signifies a bearish candle, right? So if it's a dragonfly doji, if it's you know, a big green candle that engulfs this one, it could be a bullish signal. But in terms of overall trend, Litecoin is still bullish, which is great. And the reason that is because it's trading cheaply right now compared to the price that it's been in the last week. So that is why I went ahead and made a purchase on Litecoin. And you can definitely justify opening a position at this point. Again, let's wait to see how this candle plays out before throwing more of your budget into it. But certainly you can justify a certain percentage of your budget at this price point. All right, let's go back to the chat. Do you invest in Nike stock? Brian Skaggs. Am I wearing a Nike shirt? Oh, no. Is it because I'm always wearing Nike stuff, Brian? No, I have a really close friend that works at Nike. So if you see me with Nike stuff, it's because I'm always at the employee store, especially when I travel to Portland where the headquarters are. So that is why I have a bunch of Nike stuff. I'm surprised you said that, but yeah, you know what? In my videos, I do wear a lot of Nike stuff. So, and yes, personally, I do have Nike stock. I don't know if that's why you're asking that, Brian Skaggs, but yes, I do have Nike stock. All right. I heard that wallet thing, but no way Coinbase pulls that off. They tried that with BCC. What are we talking about here? Yes, Craig. Half of alts are finished till summer when BTC goes from 3K back up. I mean, all right. I'm not even going to engage in that conversation. Check out XVG. Is there really enough USD behind Tether? No, John McCoy. That is the controversy, right? Is that there aren't that Tether is failing to come up with proving that they actually have the USD that they claim they do behind Tether, and that they're actually doing something else with the USD, like buying Bitcoin or taking vacations with it. I mean, that, you know, that is the that's the main controversy behind Tether. And then the other controversy behind Tether is that it's tied to Bitfinex, because there are the same signatories on both companies, right? So that's you know, that's the problematic thing behind Tether. Thoughts on ADA? Do you think NEO will rise again? I just went over NEO, my friend. I just went over NEO. Rewind the video. XRP now. Okay. Fucking Robert Mancha. Dude, you are good looking. XRP now. Is that your way to get me to look at XRP? Wow. Is throw some empty compliment towards my way. All right, let's look at XRP. So I'm going to look at XRP against Bitcoin. Whoa, I drew a whole bunch of fucking waves on this one earlier, so apologies. Let me remove these for you. All right. And these were, these right here, if you're wondering what these are, I was measuring profit-taking targets from the trade alerts. So if you're wondering why I have all of these here, is because based on my analysis, I had sent out a trade alert before this current pullback of Ripple, and I was just finding out profit-taking targets based on technical analysis. So there are different profit-taking targets. And for those of you that don't take profits and you just hodl, good luck to you. I thought we were all in this to make money, but yeah, you can keep hodling. All right, so let's look at Ripple. Let me just remove these EMAs. All right. So it's funny because a lot of, if you look at this pattern right here, right, of lower highs and lower lows, and it kind of looks like steps going down. You see this pattern a lot at this moment in time with different altcoins against Bitcoin. I mean, they're very similar patterns. Let me see if I remember another one. If you look at XVG, I mean, it's the same thing, right? You see, let me just remove this. You see kind of this, you know, stepping downwards pattern here. So that's very telling that it's because of Ripple controlling the market. So XRP, if we're looking at the 1 day chart, look at every single volume bar in the last 7 days. These are all sells. Now it's not alarming because it's not a major amount or major amount of sales compared to how the previous buys were, but it is a lot of consecutive sales. One thing I do want to, I'm just really curious. I didn't do this before, but let's see what the TD sequential looks like. All right, this is why I was curious, and I promise you, I did not look at this before. So I've talked about the TD sequential in previous videos. I'm not going to go into it in depth right now. I'm sure some of you remember it, and some of you can look it up on your own. But basically, it uses 9 as its magic number, right? So if you see 9 consecutive candles in a certain trend, right, like in a downtrend or an uptrend, then that usually triggers a strong signal to initiate either a buy or a sell or a short if you're a little bit more advanced. Now, there are definitely rules within that, as you know, in terms of if 6 and 7, for instance, are taller or shorter than 8 and 9, there are different stipulations and rules within that. You can look on your own. But the interesting thing to note here is we did clear 9 candles in this downtrend. And what that usually means is it gives us a buy signal, at least in the short term. It doesn't mean we're going to continue to see, we're going to continue to see Ripple going this way like this. But it could mean that the next couple day candles are going to be nice, big green, full body candles, kind of like these two here. If you look at this sequence here, we completed 8, right? And 8 is also, it's not as strong as a confirmation as 9, because in the TD sequential, 9 is the magic number, but 8 certainly is a strong indication as well. So in this case, we could see the next 2 or 3 or more candles being positive as part of an uptrend. Again, I think it does depend on what goes on with BTC, but it is a great sign nonetheless. And you can certainly enter in to a Ripple trade at this point in time. We look at the RSI, it is kind of on the lower end, which is great. The MACD hasn't crossed over yet. You might want to wait for that. You might miss out on a few sats here if you're waiting for the blue to converge with the orange, right? The 12 to converge with the 26 and rise above the 26. But yeah, I would certainly, if I'm looking to get into Ripple, I would certainly enter a position here. And let me say this about most alts, right? Like all the known alts, the Ripples, the Cardanos, the Dashes, the Moneros, the Lumens, they're all following a similar pattern. And if they're not, they're certainly, most of those are at a discount compared to, how we were trading previously. So you could enter into those. And if you're patient enough and you're not a jittery mother effer, you could hold on to them for a while and not stare at the charts every single minute to see if you're up or down. And you will most likely be fine, in a month or two, barring any sort of catastrophic market crash. That's just my take on it. Like I know it's fun and we nerd out on this shit and we like to stare at the charts all day and learn how to do Elliott waves and TD sequentials and how do we draw trend lines and beautiful triangles and shit. But that isn't, if you have the time, certainly, by all means, go ahead and do that. But it's not healthy for your brain, and it certainly isn't necessary for maintaining a sound investment strategy. So let's just leave that where it is. And obviously, it's your life, and you can do whatever you want. But that's just some advice from Uncle Z here. So, all right, let me remove the TD sequential because I got what I wanted out of it, and let me put in the Bollinger Bands real quick because I'm actually very curious to take a look at what these look like. Yeah, so even looking at the Bollinger Bands, and I will make these lines thicker for you to be able to see. So looking at the Bollinger Band, this middle one again is a 20-day SMA or simple moving average. This blue above it is 2 standard deviations above. This blue below it is 2 standard deviations below. Now, basically what you see with the Bollinger Bands is you see it expanding and contracting, and it basically goes in waves, right? So you're looking for two things. You're looking to see whether the coin is trading above or below the mean. In this case, it's the 20-day SMA is defined as the mean, because it will revert and regress to the mean, right? And then you're also looking to see, whether it is in an expanding or contracting state. And so obviously, if it's been contracting for a while, you're expecting it to expand at some point in conjunction with additional indicators, and vice versa. So we see here that you see how wide it got here because it was trading in real volatile fashion, and it's starting to get into a tighter squeeze. So we expect this to get tighter, just based on a cyclical fashion. We expect this to become tighter and contract and then expand again. And when it expands, you can expect to see growth and possibly parabolic growth. And again, after looking at the TD sequential, verifying it with the RSI, I would like to see this MACD crossover before entering a trade, but you can certainly justify a trade on XRP now. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me go to the chat. People are saying XRP worthless tokens. Cyberprompt, yes, I agree with you. The tokens are worthless, but currently it is a tradable commodity on a chart. And we are here, at least in terms of my channel, I'm here to teach and learn sound investment strategies, right? I'm not here to pass judgment on, whether something is a worthless token or not, because if you're being honest with yourself, there are 1,500 some odd cryptocurrencies on the markets right now, and 1,490 of them are probably bullshit. So let's just take that into account. As banker with 25 years experience, we just laugh about these YouTubers. Not sure who you're talking about. If you're talking about me, not sure why you're watching this. XRP complement equals charts. John McCoy, thanks. Ripple equals ripoff. Okay. Again, I'm just looking at charts. I'm not here to pass judgment. You can get as emotional as you want about coins, but that's not what I'm here for. So, that's it. He or she says A-Chain. This is something that I actually wanted to make a specific video about. Okay. Let's leave the charts for a second. If you look at YouTube and you just Google A-Chain, or if you're subscribed to a bunch of crypto YouTubers, I am not. There's only a few that I follow. We went over that in the last video. But if you Google A-Chain, or you're subscribed to a bunch of crypto YouTubers, you'll see a bunch of videos about A-Chain, right? And it's no coincidence. And look, if you look at the comments in the video, people are saying, you're shilling, or this definitely seems like a paid sponsorship. What's going on? This doesn't feel right. Like, why are you all of a sudden talking about A-Chain in a lengthy fashion, et cetera, et cetera? I will be honest with you. So my channel has around 11,000 subscribers. A-Chain contacted me and said, hey, can you do a video on A-Chain? And I wrote back and I said, yes, I'm familiar with A-Chain, but I am not willing to do a video if part of the conditions is that I cannot disclose to my audience that, hey, this is a sponsored video on A-Chain. Okay. So I don't begrudge anybody, especially YouTubers who make a lot of content. Like, you guys might not understand how long it takes to make some of these videos, especially good videos, right? It takes a long time to make videos. It takes even longer time to make great quality videos or good content, or at least do research and provide you with something useful that you can use. So I don't begrudge anybody that, takes paid sponsorships or, does some sort of promotion or advertising for a certain product, as long as that product isn't hurting anybody or doesn't have, nefarious intentions that could cause ill will or harm to somebody. I have no issue with that at all, but disclose it. Say, hey guys, this is a sponsored video. I was contacted by A-Chain. They really want you guys, they really want my audience to know, what is A-Chain? What does their blockchain do? Because, hey, let's face it, there might be great tech out there that they don't have the backing, they don't have the money, they don't have just the exposure or the contact in order to get well known, right? A lot of these ICOs, the reason that they're big is because they have a big backing behind them. They have a big team behind them. They have sponsors. They might have angel investors. They might have a lot of money coming in, and that allows them to get well known. And some companies might have great tech, but they're just not able to get exposed, I guess, or not able to get exposure. So I have no issue with any crypto YouTuber doing, a paid promotion, but just tell your audience. And I look at most of these A-Chain videos, and, they're talking about A-Chain as if it's some tech that they just stumbled upon and are, have researched it and now are just honestly telling you about some great discovery that they made. And this isn't disparaging A-Chain at all, right? When I said, hey, I'm going to disclose if I ever do anything like this, I have to tell my audience that this is a paid sponsorship and this is a paid promotion. They actually said, we respect that and we're okay with that. So I don't know why, some of these other YouTubers actually aren't honest with their audience and they try to pass this off as something that's, completely organic because it isn't. So sorry to go on that rant, but somebody had asked about A-Chain and I wanted to bring that up. All right. So we looked at XRP, we looked at Litecoin, we looked at Bitcoin, and we looked at what else did we look at? I can't remember what we looked at now. But I know that you guys also wanted to look at Tron, right? So let's take a look at Tron. All right. So again, Tron, similar to some of the other altcoins, you see this huge expansion here in the Bollinger Bands, followed by this contraction, meaning that we are at some point expecting this to expand. Currently, it's trading within the mean, sometimes a little bit below. Like we're a little bit below the 20-day SMA here in the last 3 or 4 candles. RSI is nice and on the low side. MACD hasn't crossed over yet. So a lot of these altcoins look like they are about to blow, really. All they need is for market confirmation from BTC to say, hey, come along the way. I'm on my rally, so everyone else come with me. That's really what it's waiting for. And that brings me to something else that I wanted to discuss. The great thing about I guess the double-edged sword about the crypto market, right, is that Bitcoin controls everything at the moment. But the other side to that, right, the advantage of that is that we have time to invest in altcoins because altcoins are slow to catch up to Bitcoin. So once Bitcoin goes on its rally, what we tend to see is that altcoins take a little bit of time to catch up. But all we need is for Bitcoin to rally and then remain stable, right? So that altcoins can eventually catch up. But that gives us some time to invest, right? Like what other market can you say with certainty that, oh yeah, these other coins are all about to rise too as soon as this one coin or token stabilizes itself, then we'll see everything else come up. It's kind of like an easy opportunity to make money, right? It's just where you buy in and then what your exit strategy is, what your profit taking is, what your stop loss is in the event that it goes the other way. So Trevon James, Justin Sun, and Crypto Nick hanging out. Silver Jaguar. Tron Electronium is Monero fork. What would happen if Binance were to be hacked? You know what would happen, John McCoy, if Binance were to be hacked? All hell breaks loose, especially if we find out what was that other exchange? Maybe you guys can help me out here. But what was that other exchange that in Japan? I can't remember the name right now. But they found that they were keeping their stuff in hot wallets or hot storage. I can't remember the name of the exchange right now. But yeah, it would be effed. So I don't know why you're asking that. It seems like some sadistic wish that you're bestowing upon us, but I hope that's not the case. I would never, but Tron, I knew it was a scam from the jump when I saw son on his couch pumping. Whoa, I don't know what that means. Maybe you can help me out here. Was a Japan exchange. Yeah, John McCoy was. No, not Mount Gox. It was one that happened recently. I'm talking about like a few weeks ago. Remember the NEM hack? That's the one I'm talking about. I can't remember the name, but it was a Japanese exchange that got hacked. Just look up NEM Japan hack or something and you'll see it there. Let me look. I'm just curious to see what the shorter intervals look like for Tron. So here's the 2-hour chart for Tron. It definitely has room for growth. Again, looking at the RSI, anytime on the 2-hour chart that Tron has hit the oversold level, it eventually ran up to the overbought level shortly thereafter. Like you see it here, you see it here. It took some time here, but you eventually see it. And the same will presumably happen here. So I do think that Tron, Ripple, Litecoin, definitely. I mean, Litecoin's one of the big three. There are opportunities for buying here, right? I'm not saying that the market is not going to decline. So don't be careless with your stop losses. And if you want to know how to set, I did a whole entire video on this, so you guys should know this by now. But if you want to know how to quickly calculate where you should have your stop loss, in TradingView or Coinigy, go to the left here and click on the price range tool and click on the current price and just go down. And you'll see the percentage calculator right there, right? You'll see it calculating downward. And just set your stop loss for what your risk profile allows you to lose. So 15%, 20%, just make sure that it's something realistic that doesn't get triggered immediately based on recent pricing. So if you're looking at, say if you're looking at the Tron 1-hour chart, right? And you set your stop loss, say you set your stop loss, you want to set your stop loss here at the support level. Well, look at all these wicks here, right? Look at the wick here, look at the wick here, look at the wick here. If you set it right at the support level, obviously there's a high chance it will get triggered. You want to set it just below, where the previous wick was, so that it doesn't get triggered prematurely, but also so that you protect yourself in the event of a catastrophic crash. So don't get careless. I mean, don't mistake me for saying that we're completely out of the woods yet. But all these altcoins definitely are discounted at the moment. So. All right. Any questions that you guys have? I'm getting kind of burnt out on the technical analysis. We've done a bunch of coins at this point, so let me see if you guys have any other questions. Otherwise, we can just wrap it up for next time. What do you think about the key? What is that? The key? I'm not sure what you mean. Himalayan genie. What do you mean? What do you think about the key? Do you see BTC going back to all-time highs later in the year? Yes, I definitely do. I do see BTC going back to all-time highs later in the year. Obviously, besides technical analysis and the fact that it is, just the basic economics of supply and demand, and the fact that we're still in a young market, and the fact that we still haven't had our influx of volume coming in, I do feel like we will. Now, will it sustain longer at 20K than it did the last time? I don't know. What happened last time was just a bunch of amateurs who didn't really care about crypto, either wanted to look cool, during the holidays so that they have something to talk about, or there was fear of missing out, or it was just becoming part of the mainstream, right? Like every TV show and music video and magazine is talking about Bitcoin and podcast. So they just wanted a little piece of Bitcoin, and they bought in and it pumped up the market, and we got to 800 billion, and Bitcoin got to 20,000, but it didn't last very long. So I don't know how long it will last. I will say that the next rally, we need to see some kind of sustainability at a high price. It doesn't have to be 20,000. maybe 15,000 or 13,000. But yeah, I do think that by the end of the year, we will see Bitcoin back to its all-time highs. What are you holding at the moment? By Rich Owens. All right, Rich. So currently, I mean, obviously cold storage is different from what I'm holding, what I'm ready to trade with, right? So cold storage, I obviously have a bunch of Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. That's stuff that I bought a long time ago that I'm not touching. I got it for cheap and I got a lot of it. So I'm holding that in cold storage. In terms of what I'm readily trading, I'm just buying the dips on, the major coins right now. So I'm buying Litecoin, Ethereum, less Bitcoin because I already have a lot. And then before the pullback, I was trading, doing some day trading, some swing trading, and then I was also investing in coins that weren't the top three that I believed in. So Wabi was one of them, Neo, Icon, Lumens. But again, because I'm really strict with my stop losses, with my exit strategies, I set a 10 to 15% max loss. So before this, when we had the previous crash where we lost 6% of the market, 60% of the market in less than 30 days, I only lost max 15% because that's the stop loss that I set on it. So I'm not holding anything currently besides the big three at the moment, really, in any large quantity. And I'm just waiting on the sidelines, right? And I'm waiting for the right opportunity. Based on what I just saw with XRP, I am going to put in a trade after this call is done, as well as maybe on Tron. I might buy back into Verge because my Verge stop loss kicked in. So I might buy back at this level, and then just hold. But what I want you guys to think about is portfolio distribution, right? Like, don't just buy things just to buy them. The way that I'm distributed, or that I like to maintain a certain distribution, I usually do 70% blue chip coins, right? 20% altcoins, and then 10% high risk coins that you can make a lot of money off of within a short amount of time. But again, have your stop losses ready. And the thing with crypto is blue chip doesn't mean boring, right? So Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, these might be boring in the crypto world, but if you put one of those charts against, a stable stock like Nike or, Intel or Oracle, they look erratic as shit, right? They look volatile. They look crazy volatile compared to blue chip stocks. So they might be blue chip in the crypto world and seen as boring, but there's still a lot of opportunity to make money because there's so much volatility. So, and I acknowledge that those are the coins that might remain with us long term as well from a tech perspective. So let's see. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. What would your top 5 picks be for 2018? I don't know, man. I mean, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin private looks really interesting. Once that drops onto an exchange, I'm definitely picking up some of that. And the reason that I'm picking up some of that is just based on the previous Bitcoin forks. I did a whole video on it. If you go back and look at my Bitcoin private fork, right? Bitcoin private video. All the previous Bitcoin forks, they hit the market for a few days, a few weeks, they stabilize, and then they see this tremendous run up. So I'm definitely going to do that. I do have some Z Classic that I have bought a long time ago for, I don't know, whatever it was, like $5 or something. But I wouldn't buy Z Classic at 170 or 160, whatever it's trading at now, because right after the Bitcoin fork, that shit it's going to look like a pump and dump. It's going to look like the dump side of the pump and dump, right? Where it's just going to free fall without a parachute. So let's see. You're basically answering my second question. Okay. Already talked about TRX, Rowan video. Yes. I did talk about TRX. I did talk about XRP. Cyberprompt says the trifecta of fail. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the tech, if you don't like somebody that works there, But you seem to get really, really emotional about these coins. I really disband myself from any sort of emotion. I'm looking at charts. I'm looking at what's tradable. I'm looking at what I can buy and sell. And as long as everything is legit, I don't care. It doesn't mean that I'm going to hold Tron or Ripple or Verge long term. It doesn't mean that at all. Cyberprompt. It just means that I'm a trader. I'm a trader by trade. What are your high risk coins? High risk coins are ones like HSR, AirSwap. And again, high risk doesn't mean I don't believe in the tech. It's just their reputation hasn't been around maybe long enough. They're a bit more precarious. Maybe they haven't released anything in terms of technology, and they're just a white paper that people are excited about. Tron is certainly a high risk coin in my opinion. Just though, I mean, you have a few that pop up every now and then, like DGD or Packcoin. So it's whatever the market gives you. But I will tell you this, Rhino LA, that I don't invest in coin. I don't try to take advantage of pump and dumps. One, I think is really stupid because you could easily be caught left holding the bag, right? You buy into this pump and you don't dump fast enough and you're just holding something worthless. And the second thing is I look at volume, right? I don't buy into something that doesn't do a significant amount of volume every day, because for the same reason, people think that when they're buying and selling, they're buying and selling on the exchange, right? They're buying from the exchange or selling to the exchange. No, there's somebody on the other end. There's somebody on the other end that has to transact with you, right? There's another person just like you who buys who's either buying the coins that you're selling or selling the coins to you that you're buying, right? So when it comes to low volume coins, you might not find a buyer. It's not like just because there's a button on Binance or KuCoin that says sell, that as soon as you sell, it will magically transact and convert to sell. There has to be someone on the other end that clicks buy. So that's why I don't trade in anything that does really low volume, that's suspect. How do you keep yourself from touching your cold storage coins and moving them to altcoins? I have this problem. Well, I'll tell you how, John. It's because I got lucky. All right. So back when Bitcoin was $1,000, right, during summer of last year or whatever, early summer of last year, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and people thought I was crazy because at that point it was the all-time high. But now, I mean, even if the market dips to 5,000, you still made 5x your money, right? So coins that I bought really cheap, I'm able to keep in cold storage. Yes, if I bought Bitcoin at 9,000, not saying it's a bad investment at all, because it's currently at a discount. But if you bought Bitcoin at 9,000, it's a little bit more dubious, right? So you aren't comfortable enough keeping it in cold storage, and you might want to have it readily available for you to trade in and out of. So that's really it. It's not any sort of innate skill that I have in terms of keeping stuff and not touching it, but it's just because that is a stash of coins that I bought for really cheap that will probably be worth something for a long time to come, because even with market fluctuations, I'm still up, hundreds of percentage points, if not thousands. So where would you buy your XRP on Binance? Okay. Rich Owens, I watched it, bought some ZCL and holding till the fork. That's good. It's certainly cheaper than holding Bitcoin than trying to get Bitcoin private after that. So the only thing is just know what you are risking, right? Just know what you're risking. So I love that you don't give a shit and you're all about making money. Totally respect that. Thank you, Amir. I would say the only thing I care about is if I'm investing into something nefarious or something that might be hurting somebody or something that is obviously illegal, I don't partake in that. But if it's legal and it's okay, it's something that's chartable, that's tradable, that is legal for me to get in and out of, why not trade it? TMT, can you review BitConnect? Yes, I'll review it. Sure. Hit me up after the chat. Whatever. I'm going back to crypto to Crypto Nick's channel. Does he even have a channel? I think I saw, was it Doug Polk that was saying that he had deleted all his videos or something. All right. We just crossed the 1 hour mark. If you guys don't have any other pressing or entertaining questions, we can certainly leave them till next time. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining the live streams. If you have any recommendations on what you want to see from these live streams in the future, if you want to, I don't know, throw some more suggestions in there, or if you're happy with the way that it is, let me know. Robbie V, I went over a whole entire thing on LTC. Rewind the video, you'll see it. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Rhino. Thank you, Pavan. Pavan, I just did TRX. Go back, rewind the video. Silver Jaguar, thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Aaron. Flo. Peace. See you guys next time. Thank you so much.